So what are greens? Why do we need to eat them? How do we eat them? These are common questions. They're the one food that very few Westerners eat, at least not often. It's the most thrown away food in restaurants. Salad. Most people see greens as like prettiness for plates.
Scenery.
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 Scenery, yes. You drive around, it's all green. I love this. It's like nature doesn't hide things. It's hidden in plain sight. So people often ask me, what do you think people should eat? I'm like, well, if I just arrived here and I looked around, I'd see a lot of green. And I think I should probably eat some green, because I see very little white.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Western diet, it's mostly white. Different white foods, because it's all been bleached or refined or altered in some way. So you just want to eat more foods that are naturally in your environment. Okay. So let's get into what are greens. Are they a vegetable? They're technically vegetables, but I actually think they should be in their own class, because vegetables are more like root vegetables or butternuts, that kind of stuff. That's what I think of when I think of vegetables. Greens are something else. They're actually closer to flowers than vegetables. There are thousands of different varieties. You've got your common green leafy veg that you find in supermarkets, you've got weeds, you've got herbs, you've got sprouts, and then you've got microgreens. So often people say to me, yes, I hear, eat greens, but like what? Spinach? More spinach? More spinach? Because they just don't know that there are so many different greens available. One of the ancient knowledges which we have lost as Westerners, not entirely, but most people have, is knowing what green foods you can eat right around you. And they're all there. I don't even know what, I'm going to give you guys 4 that you can, but there's so many out there. And I learn about these things all the time. Literally thousands and thousands of different varieties. And these are the foods that can heal people. They're growing right under their feet. It's like the weeds and the grasses. And then someone brings the lawnmower, and the weeds come and they're like, no, no, eat me, don't cut me down. Amazing. So here's a list of just some different types of greens. Beetroot greens, bok choy, broccoli leaves, carrot tops, celery, chard, kale, lettuces, mizuna, mustard greens, radish tops, rocket, spinach. How many of those do you guys eat often? Yeah, often people don't even know you can eat carrot tops. They're an amazing green. Salad green, juicing green.
Can you eat the stems of the carrot? Can you juice the...
Yeah. The green stem. Yeah.
It doesn't taste very nice.
Well, it's a green food. You used to the taste. Weeds, chickweed, clover, dandelion, lamb's quarters, plantain, purslane, nettle, sorrel. How about nettles? Nettles are growing at the moment. And they are incredible. They're actually a superfood of England. I lived in the UK for many years and I used to pull the nettles out. We had a big fight. Until I heard that they were a superfood. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so waste my time. I should have just been growing more of them. They do grow in Cape Town. You can grow them, but they need to be in a very shady spot. They don't like full sun. Okay, dark shady spot. And if you want to get seeds, go to the Ethical Co-op tonight, ethical.org.za. Actually, the web shop is closed, and you can order nettle in punnets. Yeah, so you can juice it. And then those punnets are full of seeds. So you can just throw those seeds in a damp, dark area in your garden, and next year you'll be trying to, know what to do with them. Exactly, because they do spread. And the rest too. Dandelion was brought here as a food crop. And today, people yank them out constantly. Microgreens, wheatgrass and sunflower greens. These are 2 of the key greens that are used in healing clinics around the world. Wheatgrass, that's young grass that grows from wheat seeds, the same wheat that bread is made from. You don't eat the seed, you cut the grass off and you juice that. If you want to know how to grow wheatgrass or sunflower greens, our book, Rawlicious, has a description, and then our DVD course has a full demo on how to do it. So you can have a look at that. Sunflower greens, it's literally just taking sunflower seeds that still have their shell on them, and then soaking them for a while, putting them in a tray the same way you do wheatgrass seeds, and then sprouting them into microgreens. And sunflower seeds, I've heard people say, are around 30 times more nutritionally dense than salad, than lettuce. So I mean, that's where you get into technology, utilizing fewer resources to achieve more results. Efficiency is another term for it. Our Western world is highly inefficient. It's actually shocking how inefficient we are. Now if you want to eat salad, you can choose 30 bowls of lettuce or 1 bowl of sunflower greens. Or a bag of kale chips. Because kale's on that list too. One of the most amazing dark leafy greens that's widely available now. And if you've never eaten kale chips, I highly recommend you buy a bag tonight at the back. You will be hooked. It's quite addictive. People think that dark greens are hard to eat. They're not hard to eat. They're very easy to eat. You just need to know how to eat them. Kale chips is one of the great secrets to getting dark greens into your diet. Children absolutely love it too. There are kids that will not stand green foods of any kind, but kale chips they absolutely love. So try it. Then we've got herbs. We've got basil, cilantro, coriander, fennel, mint, parsley, thyme, just to name a few. And some of these things are seriously medicinal. I mean, coriander will pull mercury out of your brain. That's pretty potent for a herb that you can grow in your garden. It's quite amazing. I'm not allowed to write any of the stuff on packaging anymore because it's against the law to say that food can do any therapeutic effects or has any therapeutic effects. Amazing. Against the law.
Why?
On product packaging. It's new labelling laws that have come into effect this year in South Africa. So we've got to change all our packaging because food cannot heal.
Can you not put may?
You're not even allowed to say may. You're not even allowed to mention any diseases, any symptoms, anything. Not allowed to. It's amazing.
Are you allowed to say healthy?
No, the word healthy is banned. Completely banned.
It's like the American food industry. Same applies.
No, but South Africa is the worst, some of the strongest legislation in the world.
Buckwheat. It can be sprout when it's dehusked.
Yes, but you've got to try it. Many of the seeds that are dehusked, they may not sprout. So do a small batch test and see if it goes moldy and just slimy, then obviously it's not going to work. So always just test a little batch. Anyway, so what else have we got? Sprouts, alfalfa, broccoli, clover, fenugreek, radish. There's so many different seeds you can sprout. And sprouting is so easy to do. Again, in Rawlicious, either the book or the DVD, we go through how to sprout. And it is one of the most amazing ways for you to take back control of growing your own food. Which, as far as I'm concerned, should be the main thing taught to kids. How to grow their own food. You know, we live in a society today where all that needs to happen is for there to be no petrol. Within 3 days, there's mass starvations in cities. Mass starvation in cities. 3 days, that's all it takes. Like, the system is that fickle. People don't know what to eat wild, so they're not going to survive off, wilderness. And fynbos, there's not that much, really. It's quite woody and oily.
Fake figs.
Well, exactly, when they're in season. So getting to growing your own food is an incredible way to take back that power. Take that ability to feel that actually you are feeding yourself by your own hand, not by someone else's hand. And I feel that it's a major reason why people have such a fear of starvation subconsciously, sometimes even consciously. And you see it, I mean, Westerners eat all the time, and there are a number of reasons for that, but I also believe that one of the reasons is that they are aware if they don't get a meal today, there may not be one tomorrow, because they have zero control over their food supply. Zero. That is a very, very, very dangerous place to be in, as far as I'm concerned, especially in a system built as weakly as ours is. So get sprouting. You can get a little packet of sprout seeds and turn that into kilograms of food. It's one of the greatest return of investments that you can make. Sprout seeds are cheap. Buying sprouts is expensive. So obviously someone else had to do the whole thing of growing it. But obviously growing it yourself is really cheap. 10 minutes maximum a day. Once you get good at it, 1 minute a day to look after your sprouts. It's very, very simple. And then if you feel that you just kill the sprouts no matter what, you have to look at what energy you're putting out there. Are you loving your sprouts? Are you chatting to them? Are you telling them how grateful you are that they're growing to give you these amazing nutrients? It absolutely affects the quality, the flavor, the growing speed of the sprouts. And there have been a number of books and research papers out on that. Very, very powerful. So chat to your
You can do a
plants.
test on it. You can do a test on it.
You can do a test, for sure.
You can have
Yeah.
two different plants and say hateful things to the one and positive things to the other.
It's that
And
easy to
the
do.
Positive things, the
Yeah.
plant will grow better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's been lots of studies. You can even do it with rice and water. There's different tests you can look at online.
Well, you
And
scream
you
and
can
shout
even
at
write
the one
words on the jar.
nice.
Yeah, there's different, and the one, with the rice test, the jar that you say hateful things to will grow more. It's very different.
Yeah.
Water as well. Yeah.
You could also just ignore one and then just give the other one praise and see the difference. Pretty amazing. You can also get a book called The Secret Life of Plants. That's a fascinating book.
That's true.
So what I want to touch on now are some of the weeds, because weeds are one of the ways you can get food in the wild straight away. I'm just going to mention 4 of them, 4 that grow in the area, and they're pretty common around the world. We'll start with chickweed. Chickweed is growing at the moment all over the place. You'll notice it by its little white flower. It's a very thin-stemmed green that grows on the floor as a mat, long, tendril-like stems, very thin. When you break the stem, there can often be like a thin like string inside. That's a good indicator.
Do you eat those or juice them? Sorry.
Both. You can. Chickweed is amazing as a salad green, so you can actually chew on it. I mean, half my salad today was chickweed, and they taste really good. They're very mild tasting green, whereas a lot of wild greens can be very strong. Look, do a bit of research online. You can get a lot more photographs of these things. Dandelion is one of the most common wild edibles in people's gardens. It's a very hard one to mix up. There's false dandelion and dandelion and others that look similar, but none of them are poisonous. It's the one with the yellow flowers. Generally will have one flower that comes up, not a whole bunch. One flower per plant. The younger leaves are the nicer leaves. When the leaves get a little bit older, they get prickly. And they're not so good anymore. You can still juice them, but the younger ones are definitely better. These make the little pom-poms that you can blow and send seeds around. Then we've got 2 others. There we go. Lamb's quarters. These will again have will have various names. I mean, you've really got to just take the name and do a bit of research on the food to find it. Because many lamb's quarter type greens look similar. Like you can get moroch, which is a local kind of African spinach, which is very similar to lamb's quarters. It grows a lot taller. It'll get to waist height, this bush. Very rich, full-bodied flavour. It's a lovely one to add to greens. You can use it instead of spinach. It's very nice like that. And then purslane. Purslane is the only plant, terrestrial plant, that has DHA in it. That's the same omega-3 you find in fish. It's quite an amazing plant. And you'll notice that it grows on the floor. It has this amazing red-pink stem, these little round leaves, and it's very gelatinous. It's almost like gooey.
Yes.
When you chew it, it's like jelly inside. Okay, and that's a great one to juice or to put in your salads.
Is it similar to pigweed?
Pigweed is another word for it. Pigweed, yeah. And there are various names for all these different weeds. So just on those 4 weeds, which likely are in your garden already, you can already get half your salad from your own garden. Because often people tell me, greens are expensive. I'm making green juice every day and it's costing me a fortune. I'm like, sure, but I haven't spent money on greens in 5 years. It's the easiest thing to grow. Don't even worry about the fruits and the vegetables and the tomatoes and all any of that stuff. Just start by growing greens. Here are some of the microgreens. That's wheatgrass and that's sunflower greens. So wheatgrass is generally known for its wheatgrass shots. You get them in little shooters from a lot of health shops and Kauai.
And you have that every day?
No, I don't have wheatgrass every day. At the moment, I'm actually not having much at all. In summer, I have quite a bit. And when I do have, I will have a lot. I have no issue drinking 100 mils of wheatgrass. I wouldn't recommend you do that initially. Start with like 10 mils or 20 mils, because it's very cleansing. Very strong taste too. So don't mix it in with other things. Have it by itself and then drink water to chase it with. But you can easily grow the grass at home and then juice it. And then we've got the sunflower greens. Those are amazing as a salad green. It's a really tasty, delicious, neutral flavored green. Great for juicing and salads. These are the two that I definitely look at growing besides the sprouts if you're looking at growing greens. And if you don't have a garden and don't want to get into actually planting spinach and kale and that kind of stuff.
How does the grass compare to the powder?
So how does wheatgrass powder compare to the actual grass? They are quite different in their effects. I found that the fresh juice is far more cleansing, far more, in a sense, energetically potent, far more energizing. The grass powder is very concentrated with vitamins and minerals because they've taken a whole lot of grass juice and dehydrated it. So I love both of them for different reasons. I will use, wheatgrass powder is a food for me. When I make a green smoothie like this, I'll put 4 heaped tablespoons of wheatgrass powder in it. And I absolutely crave it. I love the taste of it. Again, initially you start slow, you start with a teaspoon and you build up. But over time your body starts to recognize it as actual food and not as a supplement. So I really like both. Okay, moving along.
So you do them both every day?
Yes, I do fresh green leaf juice pretty much every day, every second day. And then I'll add grass powder to that juice.